What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Nevin the Barber again, and in today's YouTube tutorial we're going to be covering a high taper with curls on top. So to get straight into this tutorial today, I will be using my gamma hitters to carve in my first bald line, and you guys can see that I am making this guideline right here as clean as I possibly can. Always remember that when you guys cut hair, the fade is going to be determined on the first line that you guys put in, followed by the detail work and the guidelines that you create on top of it. So always be sure to create clean guidelines whenever you guys are cutting hair, just so you could execute the cleanest blend. So now that we got that guideline put in, I'm gonna go ahead and follow it with the lever all the way open, and this is cutting the hair down to a 0.5 length. And again, you guys can see that I went over my guideline just to get it as clean as I possibly could. So we have our skin line, our 0.5 line, and now we're gonna go in and create our third guideline right here with the 1.5 guard all the way open. So this is basically cutting the hair down to a short 2 guard length, and we're gonna do some clipper over comb to blend that 1.5 guard into the crown of my client's head. And now that we have that step complete, we're gonna blend the 0.5 into the 1.5 using the 1/2 guard all the way open. And we're just gonna be doing some lever play, closing that lever 1 notch at a time. And every time you guys close the lever, you wanna be sure to shorten your cutting stroke, just because this is gonna be cutting the hair at a little bit of a shorter length. So you wanna make sure that you don't push up your blend too high. And now to erase our last guideline in this taper, I went ahead and used the lever all the way closed. So this is now cutting the hair down to a 0.0, and I do have these clippers right here 0 gapped, so it does make this step a lot easier because you guys can just knock out your skin line right away using your clippers. And I am opening the lever 1 notch at a time, just attacking that last guideline so we can get a nice smooth transition in our taper. And this is all about doing detail work and corner work with the blade. There's no need to use the whole blade on the scalp. So whenever you guys are erasing guidelines, just use the corner of the blade and let the clipper do the work. And lastly, I just went ahead and went over that last guideline with my trimmers. So now that we have our taper complete, I'll begin doing my client's lineup in the front. And you guys can see I already had the left side lined up. We're just gonna come back and punch in our hairline on the right side. And when doing this, you guys want to keep the hairline right at its natural point. Nobody likes a push back hairline, so always be sure to just tap that line right where it's growing in. And you guys can see with these few simple steps, I was able to achieve a nice clean blurry high taper. And now that we have the left side blended out, I'm gonna go ahead and arch behind my client's ear. And when we have that done, we're gonna then start the back taper. But before I do the taper in the back, I do always like to line up behind the ears, just so we have a cleaner foundation before we start actually fading into the hair. And again, when doing this, you guys can see I just use the corner of my detailers. That way I can get the most precise and sharpest cut that I can get. But barbering is an industry of art, so never be afraid to, express yourself and put in all the details that you want whenever you guys are cutting hair. And again, like how I was saying right now, I do like to carve in behind my client's ear and edge up their nape before I begin the taper. And now that I have that done, we're gonna create our first bald line in the back of our client's nape. And you guys can see that I created this right under my client's temple area, right beneath his ears. And whenever you guys do a taper, you always want to be sure to keep that blend beneath the occipital bone, because once the blend goes above the occipital bone, at that point is basically a fade. So always be sure to keep that blend nice and low whenever you guys are trying to do a taper. And so with the back, we're doing the same exact system that we did on the side. We went ahead and started with our lever all the way open, followed by the 1.5 guard open. doing clipper over comb now. You guys can see that this just leaves a nice clean transition from the top of the taper into the bulk of the hair. And I do like doing clipper over comb with the 1.5 guard just because it saves you time from going from the 4, the 3, and the 2 guard. So you guys can skip 3 steps just by doing clipper over comb. And now we're gonna blend the 1/2 guard, or I'm sorry, the 0.5 into the 1.5 using the 1/2 guard, just how we did on the side. And this system right here is very, very easy and simple. You guys can execute this system on basically any hair texture and any fade you guys want to do. So feel free to try it out and let me know if it works out for you guys. This is my go-to fading technique right now. Out of all the ones I tried, this one seems to be working the best and the most efficient for me. And you guys can see that the back of our taper is coming together little by little. Just doing some detail work, doing lever play with no guard right now, erasing any last dark areas that I see. And again, you guys can see that I'm just using the corner of my blade, slicing and dispersing out any last areas that I see that need to be faded out. And if you guys have learned anything in this video so far, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do appreciate all the support that I get from you guys. And if there's any tutorials that you guys are looking forward to seeing, drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to get them out for you guys. And now I'm gonna go ahead and begin my razor lineup on my client. And whenever I do a razor lineup, I do always like to lean my client back. That way I can get that razor blade up against the grain of my client's scalp. And it's very important that you guys shave against the grain when doing this, just so that the haircut and the lineup can last as long as possible. And all these little details right here really do take your haircuts to the next level. So never be afraid, like I said, to truly express yourself in this industry and put in all the details that you guys can with every haircut. And to finish off the taper, I am going to be doing some shear over comb with my NevinTheBarber shears. And I do always like using shears in all of my haircuts, despite what haircut I'm doing, just because this leaves a really, really nice blurry transition from the top of the fade into the bulk of the hair. And you guys can see that I'm just rolling that comb off of my client's parietal ridge, following it by doing some point cutting. And what the point cutting is doing is basically just dispersing the hair out a lot softer than what the clippers would be doing. Sometimes the clippers can leave a really choppy cut, and whenever I do my detail work, I like to leave more of a softer finish. So you guys can use the shears to get a more softer blend whenever you guys are doing your detail work. And now I'm just gonna go back with my detailers, ensuring that all those last hairs in the skin area are cut down. And you guys should always take about 5 to 10 minutes to always detail your work. Just double check it and make sure that you can leave your client looking and feeling as clean as you possibly can. And one more time with my Uno shaver, ensuring that the blend is all the way cut down to the skin. And if you guys do want to check out the clippers that I used in this video, feel free to use my code NEVIN10 on the Gamma website to get yourselves a discount. I do highly recommend these clippers right here. I've been using them for about 3 years now, and they are my go-to clippers. I have used Wall and Andes, however, Gamma definitely knocks the other brands out of the park. So again, if you guys want to save some money and are looking forward to investing into a new clipper, y'all can use my code NEVIN10 to get yourselves a discount on the Gamma website. But that is about it for today's haircut tutorial. If you guys learned anything in this video, again, please sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But it's your boy NevinTheBarber. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one.